Just like the title says, I run an agency for a living. And I've been doing this for about 2 years and 9 months at this point. And I've had a couple of different ones. Granted, I kind of switched a bit too much, but it's been an interesting journey so far. I started my first agency when I was 19. I was just pretty much fresh out of school. And originally, I planned to actually do work and travel for a year. But because of COVID and because everything with, flying here and there was a bit tougher than usual, I ended up not doing it. And because of that, I stayed at home. I back then was playing a lot of video games, and that's what I spent my time doing. But at some point, it kind of became boring. And so, because of that, I was searching for other things that I could do, at least subconsciously, because I didn't know what I was going to do otherwise, right? And so I started investigating the world of crypto. I started trading some NFTs and, really invested time into that. I was working on that for like 10 hours every day, did that for about 2 weeks straight. And then I made about $20,000 profit within those 2 weeks back then. Bear in mind, back then, this was 5 times the amount of net worth I had. Meaning, I made in 2 weeks 5 times what I had to my name in my entire lifetime. And what I saved up my entire lifetime as well. And so I did that crypto thing, but because I didn't know the markets well, I only knew how to get whitelisted with NFTs, if you know what that is. Markets dropped, I lost money, and I got out of crypto. Because of that, over the summer afterwards, I was watching a lot of different YouTube videos, business YouTube videos to be precise. I was watching videos about starting an agency. I was listening to podcasts and audiobooks, for example, Atomic Habits and just all the classics. I did that over the summer. I was working 2 minimum wage jobs. I was a lifeguard by the pool. And after I did that, in September 2022, I bought my first course. It was a course on how to start an agency. My mom paid for it, and I'm very thankful for that. And I started my first agency. Now, from September till January, I worked on that agency a lot. I was studying at the same time as well. I was at uni. I had a job at a consulting company. I was running that business and just trying to improve myself overall in a lot of different areas of my life. And because of that, I had a lot of stuff going on and I couldn't really focus on the business that much. Now, in January 2023, I made the decision to drop out of uni. Bear in mind, this was without me actually making a shitload of money or anything. So I did take a big risk. But the thing was, in my mind, it was either that business thing or nothing, because that's what I genuinely wanted to do. And so I didn't even think about the risk of it or what could happen or anything like that. Like, I just genuinely wanted to build the business, and I didn't even make much money then. I signed my first 3 clients for $600 upfront, $1,500 upfront, and $300 upfront. That was my first 3 clients. And it took me about 3 months of sending outreach on Facebook every single day to get them. Keep in mind, back then, I didn't know what sales was. I didn't know what marketing was. I didn't know what pretty much anything fucking was. And so I, got those first couple of low ticket clients. I did my thing. I got them some results, but something felt off. Now, during that time, I actually had someone that I started to work with. So I had 2 business partners that I started working with on a separate business, which was a consulting company, consulting agency. And that agency, I saw a lot more potential in it than I saw in my agency, frankly, because I could just learn a lot more there. So I decided to switch my focus completely to that agency. Bear in mind, at this point in time, this was April, May 2023. I didn't really expect this to happen, but I was 20 years old back then, and we scaled that agency from 0 to 60,000 a month in cash profit, that is. So that's USD. It was like 45,000 pounds, so about 60K USD in cash profit. We scaled it from 0 to that in 7 weeks. Now, bear in mind, this wasn't my personal profit. This was the agency's profit, right? But that did something to me because it showed me what's possible with the right amount of dedication and the right amount of focus. And that was the first taste of success that I've had at that age. Now, after that, it took like a couple of months. We were working on a couple different things. We had a really simple business model. Like, the business model wasn't complex at all. And we were doing well. Clients were getting results as well. It was a pretty cool experience. We were traveling a lot as well. We went to Dubai, we went to Bucharest, we went to London, etc., etc. And that was a pretty cool experience. Kind of, getting out of my hometown, going somewhere else, building the business. That was quite cool. Now, the problem was that there were some misalignments between my business partners and myself. And so towards the end of that year, I got out of the business because I decided to drop out. I didn't want to build it anymore, didn't want to work on it anymore. And I then started my own thing, right? Started my own agency back up again. At that time, I also started a coaching. I scaled that from 0 to about 15K cash collected in about 2-ish weeks, 1.5 weeks, around about that. And that was now beginning of 2024. Cool thing there was I got to know a lot more people, and I was traveling a bit more as well. I went to Belgrade with about 30 other entrepreneurs. Right after that, I went to Greece with about 6 other entrepreneurs in a beautiful villa. And those were really cool experiences, and I really learned a lot from those. And it kind of inspired me. When you're around people that just do a lot more than you, it's very inspiring. And one of the biggest things I found for myself is that it is incredibly easy to perform when your environment is set up for you to perform. So, yeah, over 2024, I was scaling that agency. I was scaling that a bit. And then I ventured together with my previous business partner. That was about July 2024. We essentially ventured both our businesses together. We grew that to $1 million a year run rate within 2.5 months, 2 months, roundabout. And things were progressing, things were going well. Now, same thing, it didn't really fit. It wasn't necessarily that either he was wrong or I was wrong. It was more a thing of it didn't really fit from both sides, and so it didn't really work out in the end. But it was a really cool business to run, scaled it, and then towards the end, December 2024, we parted ways. I started my own thing back up again. Now, keep in mind that at that point in time, I was very frustrated because I had successful businesses twice, and twice I had to start back up from 0 again because I was with business partners and I didn't want to continue working with them. And so I was a bit pissed. I was also in a situation where I had a lot of bills to pay. I had a lot of recurring costs, but all of a sudden, no money coming in anymore. And so because of that, in January 2025, so in this year, I grinded very hard and I put a lot of effort into the business. And so in the first 2 weeks, I scaled the business from 0 to about 14,000 in cash collected and got the business off the ground. Now, that's kind of the journey and the story so far. And the business is on track right now to do good numbers. I'm working on a couple of very big projects and it's very fulfilling. And I don't think I've ever been this fulfilled in my entire life because of the work I'm doing. It's actually enjoyable to me. Every single client I work with is fucking amazing. And I just I love my life. There's always trials, tribulations, ups and downs, but fundamentally speaking, I love what I'm doing and I love what opportunities I get to have access to. And I'm very grateful for that. I was speaking about this with a friend of mine recently as well, where he was telling me he had a deal in the pipeline for 800K, 400K, 400K in 2 installments. And we were talking about it, and we were just talking about the fact that we're just so grateful and thankful to be in the position that we're in. And we're just, I don't want to say we're lucky, but at the end of the day, you gotta be grateful for what you have. And I couldn't be more grateful for what I have in my life, because it's what I always wished for. I never really knew where I should take my life. Like, I didn't really emphasize on this in the beginning of the video, but in the beginning, like in school, I wasn't necessarily driven to do anything. I was very lost in school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't really have any direction, didn't really have any, plan on what I'm gonna do. And I somehow found my route into entrepreneurship, and I'm forever grateful I did, because although there's a lot of problems and obstacles you have to overcome, it's just what I genuinely enjoy doing. And it's something that can build a very, very good life. And I'm just super grateful for that. In school, I was a gaming addict. Like when I was 14, 15 years old, I used to play like 10 hours of Fortnite every single day. And I didn't really do much. I was playing a lot of Fortnite. I was playing a lot of League of Legends back then as well. Even when I was like 12 or 13 years old, I used to play like Clash of Clans and stuff. So I was pretty fucking addicted, and I didn't really have a lot of drive to do really anything. Now, after I, surpassed that stage in my life where I was just gaming a lot and doing that, I realized that, there's more to life. And I stopped being that lazy, because I was actually like super lazy. You need to bear in mind, when I started out with my first business, I was lazy, I was addicted, and I wasn't really educated on anything. I had no prior experience, and not a single person in my family has ever ran a business before. I am very grateful for how I was raised and where I was raised, because I think it's one of the best circumstances you could be in and you could be raised in, which is like middle class, first world country, Germany. It's like pretty much the best situation you can be born in. And you have all opportunities wide open. You can do anything you want with your life. And the journey so far was very, very exciting. And I'm very excited for what's to come as well. So just gotta be grateful. With this video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to, first of all, kind of show you how it doesn't matter what you're doing right now. You can actually like do anything you want with your life, no matter whether you're broke, no matter whether you're uneducated, no matter whether you're lazy, no matter whether you're addicted, you can change your life around. And I wanted this video to be an inspiration for you to push more and make something out of your life, because I truly believe most people never do. And I think that's a very sad thing. So that's it. If you want to get to know more about what it is that I do for a living, you can click the first link in the description. Links to another YouTube video. It's about 2 hours long, and it's going to walk you through it if you want to see that. I hope this video was inspirational to you in some sense, and kind of showed you that it doesn't really matter what position you're in right now. It just matters what, from this moment onwards, you do on an hourly, daily, and weekly basis. I'll see you in the next one.